Hello everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are going to talk about a problem that stops millions of English learners from speaking. You may understand English. You may know hundreds or even thousands of English words. You may understand grammar rules. You may watch English videos every day. But when it is time to speak, something happens. You become nervous. You start thinking about every sentence. You ask yourself, is this grammar correct? Then you think, what if I make a mistake? And suddenly, you cannot find the words. If this sounds familiar, don't worry. There is nothing wrong with you. This is one of the most common problems for English learners. And today, I want to teach you one powerful idea. You do not need perfect grammar to speak English confidently. You need practice, simple language, and the courage to make mistakes. Think about a child learning their first language. A child does not study grammar before saying their first sentence. They don't open a grammar book and learn 10 different tenses. They simply listen. They copy. They make mistakes. They try again. And slowly they become better. You can use the same basic idea when learning English. Of course, grammar is important. Grammar helps you communicate clearly. But grammar should be a tool, not a wall. If you spend every second thinking about grammar, you may know English in your head, but you won't be able to use it naturally. Imagine someone asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" You know the answer. Maybe you want to say, "Yesterday I went to the market, bought some food and met my friend." But instead of speaking, your brain starts asking, should I use past simple? Is went correct? Should I say, I have gone? Is my pronunciation okay? While you are thinking about all of this, the conversation has already moved on. This is why you need to change your mindset. Instead of asking, is my English perfect? Can the other person understand me? That is a much better question. Your goal is communication, not perfection. Let's say you make a small mistake and say, yesterday I go to the market. The correct sentences. Yesterday I went to the market. Yes, there is a grammar mistake. But can the other person understand what you mean? Absolutely. So don't stop speaking because of one small mistake. You can correct yourself and continue. Yesterday I go. Sorry, I went to the market. That's completely normal. Even native speakers correct themselves. They pause. They forget words. They restart sentences. They change their words. So why do you expect yourself to speak perfectly when you are still learning? Give yourself permission to be imperfect. This is your first confidence lesson. Mistakes are not proof that your English is bad. Mistakes are proof that you are practicing. Every mistake gives your brain another opportunity to learn. So, from today, make a simple promise to yourself. You will not wait until your English is perfect. You will start speaking with the English you already have. Use simple sentences. Speak slowly. Make mistakes. Correct yourself when necessary. And keep going. Because confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking. In the next part, we will learn how to use simple English to sound more confident, even when you don't know difficult vocabulary. Part 2. Use simple English without feeling embarrassed. Welcome back. In the first part, we talked about an important truth. You don't need perfect grammar to communicate in English. Now let's talk about another problem. Many learners think they need difficult English to sound intelligent. They try to use complicated words. They try to create long sentences. They try to speak like a university professor or a professional news presenter. But this often makes speaking much harder. The secret is actually much simpler. Simple English is powerful English. Look at these two sentences. Sentence 1. I was extremely exhausted due to the fact that I had an exceptionally demanding day. Sentence 2. I was very tired because I had a busy day. Both sentences communicate almost the same idea. But which one is easier to say? The second one. And which one is easier to understand? Again, the second one. So don't be afraid of simple English. If you are talking about your daily life, you don't need complicated vocabulary. You can say, I woke up early. I had breakfast. I went to college. I met my friend. We talked for an hour. I came home. I was tired. These sentences are simple, but they are useful. And useful English is much more important than impressive English. Now, let's learn another powerful technique. When you don't know a word, don't stop the conversation. Explain the word using other words. For example, maybe you don't remember the word umbrella. You could say, the thing we use when it rains. The other person will probably understand you. Maybe you forget the word pharmacy. You can say, the place where we buy medicine. Maybe you forget the word refrigerator. You can say, the machine in the kitchen that keeps food cold. This is a very important communication skill. Native speakers do this too. They don't always remember the perfect word. They simply explain their idea in another way. So when you forget a word, don't panic. Don't immediately switch to your native language. Try to describe it. This will make you much more flexible as an English speaker. Now let's talk about another confidence problem, speaking too fast. Many learners think fluent English means speaking quickly. That's not true. Fluency is not speed. Fluency means communicating smoothly and comfortably. If you speak too quickly, you may make more mistakes. You may forget words. You may become nervous. Instead, slow down. For example, instead of saying, actually yesterday went to the market thanai. Take small pauses. Actually, yesterday I went to the market. Then I met my friend. We had coffee together. That sounds much more controlled. Pauses are not failures. Pauses are part of natural speech. You can use phrases to give yourself time. For example, let me think. That's a good question. I'm not sure, but actually, well, let me explain. These phrases are incredibly useful. Imagine someone asks, what is your favorite movie? You don't need to answer immediately. You can say, that's a good question. Let me think. Now your brain has a few extra seconds. Then you can continue. I think my favorite movie is. This makes speaking much easier. And remember, confidence is not the absence of nervousness. You can feel nervous and still speak. You can make mistakes and still continue. You can forget a word and still communicate. That is real confidence. So, don't try to become a perfect English speaker overnight. Try to become a comfortable English speaker. Use simple words. Speak slowly. Use short sentences. Explain words when you forget them. And keep the conversation moving. In the final part, we're going to create a simple daily practice routine that can help you become more confident when speaking English. Part 3. A daily routine for English speaking confidence. Welcome to the final part. Now you understand that perfect grammar is not required for confident communication. You also know that simple English is powerful. But knowledge alone is not enough. You need practice. So let's create a simple routine that you can follow every day. You don't need 5 hours. You don't need expensive courses. You don't need a perfect teacher. Start with just 15 to 20 minutes every day. The first exercise is called self-talk. Choose a simple topic. For example, my morning, my family, my favorite food, my college, my weekend, why I am learning English. Then speak about that topic for 2 minutes. Don't write a script. Don't translate every sentence. Just speak. For example, today I woke up early. I had breakfast. Then I went outside. The weather was nice. I met my friend. We talked about our plans. Maybe your grammar isn't perfect. That's okay. Keep going. The goal is to train your brain to produce English without stopping. The second exercise is recording yourself. Take your phone and record yourself speaking English for 2 or 3 minutes. Then listen to the recording. Don't criticize yourself. Instead, find just 3 things you want to improve. Maybe you repeated one word too much. Maybe your pronunciation was unclear. Maybe you made a grammar mistake. Choose only 1 or 2 problems. Then try again. Record the same topic a second time. You will probably notice something amazing. The second recording will be better. Because you practiced. This is how confidence grows. Not by waiting, by repeating. The third exercise is English conversation practice. Find a speaking partner, teacher, or conversation group. If you don't have someone to practice with, you can even practice by asking yourself questions. For example, what did I do today? What do I want to do tomorrow? What is my favorite food? Why am I learning English? What is one goal I have this year? Ask the question. Then answer it aloud. Don't answer with only one sentence. Try to speak for 1 or 2 minutes. The fourth exercise is extremely important. Stop translating everything. If you see a simple object, think about it directly in English. Don't think, what is the English? Instead, look at the object and think, book. This is my book. This is my English book. I read this book every day. You are training your brain to connect ideas directly with English. At first, it may feel difficult, but with practice, it becomes easier. And finally, remember the most important rule. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Your English will not improve because you avoid mistakes. It will improve because you make mistakes, notice them, and try again. Imagine your English journey like going to the gym. If you go to the gym once, you won't become strong. You need repetition. Speaking English is the same. One day of practice won't make you fluent, but 15 minutes every day can create a huge difference over several months. So start small. Speak every day. Use simple English. Don't wait for perfect grammar. Don't compare yourself with fluent speakers. Compare yourself with the person you were yesterday. Maybe today you can speak for 2 minutes. Next month, maybe you can speak for 5 minutes. Maybe today you make 20 mistakes. Later you make 10. Then 5. That is progress. And one day, you'll notice that you're speaking without thinking about every grammar rule. Words will come naturally. Your sentences will become smoother. Your confidence will grow. So remember, you don't need perfect English to start speaking. You need the courage to start. You don't need a perfect vocabulary. You need useful words. You don't need perfect grammar. You need communication. And you don't need to sound like a native speaker. You simply need to express your ideas clearly. So, starting today, make one promise to yourself. I will speak English even when I make mistakes. Say it again. I will speak English even when I make mistakes. That mindset can completely change your English learning journey. Thank you for listening. Keep practicing. Keep speaking. Keep making mistakes. And most importantly, keep believing that you can improve. I'll see you in the next episode. Part 4. What to do when you make a mistake. Welcome back to the podcast. If you are still listening, that means you are serious about improving your English speaking skills. In the previous parts, we talked about why you don't need perfect grammar to speak confidently. Now let's talk about something that happens to every English learner. Making mistakes while speaking. Maybe you say the wrong tense. Maybe you forget a word. Maybe you pronounce something incorrectly. Maybe you start a sentence and suddenly don't know how to finish it. And then you feel embarrassed. Oh no, I made a mistake. You become nervous. Your confidence goes down. And sometimes you completely stop speaking. But here is something important. A mistake is not the end of a conversation. You can simply continue. Let's imagine that someone asks, "What did you do yesterday?" You say, "Yesterday, I go to the market." Then you realize the mistake. What should you do? You don't need to panic. Simply say, "Yesterday, I go, sorry, I went to the market." And continue. That's it. You don't need to explain your entire grammar mistake. You don't need to apologize 5 times. You don't need to stop the conversation. Just correct yourself and move forward. This is called self-correction, and it is a normal part of speaking. Let's look at another example. Imagine you want to say, "My brother has 2 cars." But you accidentally say, "My brother have 2 cars." You can immediately correct it. "My brother has 2 cars." Then continue. One is old and the other one is new. Notice what happened. The mistake lasted only 1 second. The conversation continued. That's how you should think about mistakes. A mistake is a small event. It doesn't define your English. Another important skill is learning how to ask for help. Sometimes you know what you want to say, but you don't know the English word. Don't stay silent. Use a simple phrase. You can say, "What's the word for that? How do you say this in English? Can you help me with this word? I forgot the word. Let me explain it another way." These phrases are incredibly useful. For example, imagine you're talking about cooking. You forget the word knife. Instead of stopping, you can say, "What do you call the thing we use to cut vegetables?" The other person might say, "A knife." Then you can continue. "Yes, a knife. I couldn't remember the word." That's completely normal. The conversation continues. And you learn a new word. This is much better than staying silent because you forgot one word. Now let's talk about pronunciation. Many learners are afraid that people will laugh at their pronunciation. But pronunciation improves through repetition. You don't need to pronounce every word perfectly immediately. Focus on being understandable. For example, if you are learning the word comfortable, don't worry about sounding exactly like a native speaker. Practice it slowly. Comfortable. Then use it in a sentence. I feel comfortable speaking English. Repeat it. I feel comfortable speaking English. Then use it in another situation. I don't feel comfortable speaking in front of many people. This is how words become natural. And here's another powerful technique. Repeat your mistakes correctly. Suppose you often say, "He go to school." Every time you notice it, repeat, "He goes to school." Don't just think about the grammar rule. Say the correct sentence aloud. He goes to school. And again, he goes to school every morning. Your brain learns through repetition. Now, one more thing. Don't let other people's reactions control your confidence. Some people may correct you. Some may laugh. Some may speak faster than you. But remember why you're learning. You are not speaking English to impress everyone. You are speaking English to communicate. If someone corrects you politely, learn from it. If someone makes fun of you, don't let that stop you. Every fluent speaker was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once struggled. Every person who speaks English naturally has made thousands of mistakes. So don't be ashamed of being a learner. Be proud that you are trying. The next time you make a mistake, don't say, "My English is terrible." I'm learning. Then correct yourself. Continue speaking. And keep going. Because confidence doesn't mean you never make mistakes. Confidence means you don't let mistakes stop you. In the next part, we'll talk about how to build the habit of thinking in English so that speaking becomes faster and more natural. Final part. Build confidence and speak without fear. Welcome to the final part of today's podcast. By now, you have learned something very important. You don't need perfect grammar to speak English. You don't need a huge vocabulary. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. And you definitely don't need to wait until you feel completely ready. You need to start speaking with the English you already know. Let's talk about one final skill that can change everything. Thinking in English. Many English learners translate every sentence in their head. Someone asks, "What did you do today?" Your brain thinks in your native language first. Then you translate the idea into English. Then you check the grammar. Then you search for vocabulary. Then you worry about pronunciation. By the time you are ready to speak, the conversation has already moved forward. This is why you should slowly train yourself to think directly in English. Start with very simple thoughts. When you wake up, think, "I am awake. I need to get up. I am tired. I need some water." Then when you are eating, "This food is hot. This tastes good. I am hungry." When you're going outside, "I need my phone. I need my keys. It's hot today." These sentences are simple, but they are powerful. You are teaching your brain to connect your daily experiences directly with English. You don't need to translate everything. Start small. 5 minutes a day. Then 10 minutes. Then 15. Over time, English will begin to feel more automatic. Now let's talk about another important habit. Speak about your day. Every evening, spend 2 or 3 minutes describing what happened. For example, today was a busy day. I woke up at 7. I had breakfast and went to college. I met my friend there. After college, I came home and had lunch. In the afternoon, I studied English. In the evening, I watched a video. This is excellent practice because you're talking about things you already know. You don't need complicated ideas. You simply need to describe your life. And your daily life gives you unlimited speaking topics. You can talk about your family, your studies, your work, your hobbies, your plans, your favorite food, your favorite movie, your childhood, your goals, your dreams. Every topic gives you an opportunity to practice. And remember something very important. Don't measure your progress by how perfect you sound today. Measure it by how much easier speaking becomes over time. Maybe 3 months ago, you could only say, "My name is," "I live in," "I like football." Today, maybe you can talk for 5 minutes. That's progress. Maybe you still make grammar mistakes. That's okay. If you're communicating more easily, you're improving. One day you will notice something surprising. You will be speaking English and suddenly realize, "I didn't translate that sentence." That is a big milestone. Then it will happen again. And again. Eventually, more and more English will come naturally. But you have to keep practicing. So let's create one final challenge for you. For the next 7 days, speak English aloud for at least 15 minutes every day. Day 1. Talk about yourself. Day 2. Talk about your family. Day 3. Talk about your daily routine. Day 4. Talk about your favorite food. Day 5. Talk about your goals. Day 6. Talk about something interesting you learned. Day 7. Talk about your entire week. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't stop every few seconds to check grammar. Just speak. If you forget a word, explain it. If you make a mistake, correct